metropolis. You know, you don't have to go outside in Indy. Like everything is connected. Like, you know, you got the Indianapolis Convention Center, and right across the street is Lucas Oil Stadium, where basically all the players, you know, it's a tunnel that you can go from the convention center, you know, down into this tunnel where you pop up and you're at Lucas Oil, you know, Stadium. You know what I mean? So that's how bad it's connected, you know what I mean, with the convention center. Now you could take the convention center to all your hotels that's connected, JW Marriott, you know, and other, you know, it's everything is kind of like the connected. The mall, if you want to go to the mall, you can get that. You can get through there from the convention center.
Is it cold?
And was it cold?
Is it cold in Indy?
It's kind of like bipolar weather. You know what I mean? Like it was 50, then it was 40, then it was 60, then, you know, my final day was 70. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like bipolar weather there at Indy. So I didn't. I guess it was like all 4 seasons, other than snowing. I experienced, you know, pretty much everything, you know, weather-wise up in Indy. But nevertheless, it was a good time. Everything is in walking distance. You know what I mean? You don't have to go too far to get what you need in Indianapolis. I mean, all the way. I mean, you know, you got to stop at St. Elmo's, right? You got to stop at St. Elmo's. You go up to Indianapolis. And shout out to Harry's and Izzy's. You know, I ate there, you know, a few days out of my time there. You know what I mean? So they took good care of me. Them and St. Elmo's, man, they definitely, you know, hit the spot while I was there in Indy, up in Indy. Kilroy's, you definitely got to go to Kilroy's, you know, when you're down up in Indy. And also Prime. You know, Prime is kind of like the place to be, to hang out with all the, you know, all your personalities that you see on the NFL Network, ESPN, coaches, GMs, just, you know, having a few beers and, you know, talking to you know what.
So, you know, being from Buffalo, Coach, with all of us, the food. What's the Indy food? What's the
Indy food is good, but nothing beats Buffalo food, man. You know,
I'm just asking.
Nothing beats Buffalo has good food everywhere. I mean, whatever choice that you choose to eat, Buffalo's got it. But I mean, Indy definitely has some good food. They got some good food.
What's their staple? I guess if that's what I'm asking. What's their staple? What did you have there that you would say Buffalo doesn't have? Which probably.
Well, I can't say that. Yeah. I mean, Buffalo has it all. That's why I say, but nothing beats Buffalo, no matter where you go. And I've been, you know, I haven't say I've been around the world. You've been around the world.
You've been around the world.
I mean, but we can cut that in half, and you know, nothing really compares to Buffalo food. I don't know why. Maybe it's the Great Lakes. You know what I mean? A lot you got to look at. Some places geographically on how they make their food, and the water is key in that. You know what I mean? You go down south, you try to eat a pizza out of Florida, you're not going to eat that pizza, right? Then opposed to, you know, coming up here and, you know, it's made out of that Great Lakes. So that's how important the Great Lakes is. That's why they call it the Great Lakes. So I think nothing really can compare to Buffalo food top to bottom, no matter what it is. But St. Elmo's, man, you want to get you a good old steak, get you some shrimp. Best around St. Elmo's, bro. I cannot front. You know what I mean? I cannot front. You got to go there, man. And, you know, they deal with the sauces and the spiciness. They even had a display at the convention center. I mean, early in the morning, I was like, you got the shrimp, but that thing woke me up, man. It came with that horseradish and, you know, and that cocktail sauce, man. That, you know, it can make your eyes water there a little bit, especially first thing in the morning. But, you know, I definitely had a blast. You know, every time I go to Indianapolis, it's a good time. And then, obviously, you know, I mean, it's kind of like football heaven because you're sitting up there with, you know, the latest and greatest, the best NFL prospects, college prospects, you know, trying to vie them a spot for, you know, the NFL draft. So I definitely had a good time, man, being up there. So let's talk about it. You know, let's talk about it. I mean, the Bills were in the building. You know what I mean? The Buffalo Bills were in the building. You know, shout out to Brandon Beane. Shout out to Derek Boyko. You know, shout out to, you know, Coach McDermott. Shout out to Ms. Pagula. They was all up in the building representing. And I caught Brandon Beane in the hallway. You know, I caught Brandon in the hallway. And I got a chance to shoot a little bit. You know, I asked him some questions, you know. But he flipped around and asked me, like, you know, what players do you think? And I was like, wait a minute. You know, he asking me. I had to put my GM hat on a little bit. So, you know, I told him about some of the guys that I had on on my mock board, you know what I mean, on my 1.0 mock. Make sure you go and hit that link. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on, www.power965radio.com. All right, that first pre-combine mock draft 1.0 is out right now. So I just ran down some of the names that I had on my mock list right there, just to gauge and see, where they in contact with those guys. But one guy I told him about was Cole Kelly. We definitely need a backup quarterback. Other than Josh Allen being on the roster, probably me and Matty Glab is the only, quarterbacks that's left on the Bills roster. So that's not good. So, I said Cole Kelly was a guy that kind of fit that mold that you can go get in the later rounds. 6'7", 245, big guy from out of Southeast Louisiana. Very accurate guy, so you can develop him, just in case anything's happened to Josh. But we don't need to try to go get no quarterback early in the first round. Even though I know they're going to probably tinker with that in a free agency. We'll get into that later on in the show. I did talk about Shaq Lawson directly to Mr. Bean. And he said the most important thing he wants, Shaq to do is get healthy. All right. So, as long as Shaq get healthy, we all know Shaq wants to be back in Buffalo. And Bream just wants him to be healthy. As long as that works, as long as all that stuff takes place, then hopefully Shaq Lawson could be a Buffalo Bill again. All right. So I kind of left it at that. And then, I just really racked off and said, like, every time I mentioned the Buffalo Bills name to all the prospects, the eyes lit up. They got excited because obviously, hey, Buffalo is a Super Bowl contending team. They're a playoff team.
Exactly.
You want to come right into, from college to the pros playing, in the playoffs. So the Bills are definitely one of those teams. And just about every guy that I had on my mock board has been in contact with the Buffalo Bills. So it seems like I'm on track to something.
You with it, Coach.
I'm on track to something. But it's still early. I got 3 more mock boards to put out before the draft on April 28th. So we'll see. Torch, what you got for me?
Besides always getting the fire started, I just wanted to know, did you talk to a couple people that's on this list? And did the Bills talk to Trayon Burks from Arkansas?
No, they did. I asked Traylon, did the Bills speak with him? I got that interview. I didn't put it up because he didn't speak with the Bills. He didn't come in contact with the Buffalo Bills, but that don't mean that the Bills won't select him.
Right.
You know what I mean? That happens. You know what I mean? They didn't even talk to me, then they end up selecting. So, nope, the Bills didn't come in contact with Traylon Burks at all while up at the NFL Combine.
Did they talk to Devin Lloyd?
Devin Lloyd
from Utah?
Nope. No Devin Lloyd. Didn't speak with Devin Lloyd.
No Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson?
Yeah, they spoke with Andrew Booth.
Andrew Booth is good. It would be a good fit with the Bills, but he would have to come at the right time. And when I say that, he would have to come. He's going to go early. He's definitely going to go early. But he has to come at the right time for the Bills.
When is the right time? Because he's selected to be a first round pick.
That's what I'm saying. The right time.
So it's kind of like
unless something happens,
do right there at pick 25. The Bills spoke with him. They spoke with Trent McDuffie. They did speak with Kyer Gordon, but Kyer Gordon is more prone to play nickel. He's not an outside corner. Right. So that kind of like with me, that just like, okay, they're not going to take him because they already have Teron Johnson, one of the best nickels in the league right now. So that kind of eliminated him with me in regards to pick 25. Trent McDuffie, they spoke with him. Kier Elam, they spoke with him. Roger McCray from Auburn, they spoke with him. So out of those guys that you do see on everybody's mock board between Elam, McCrary, McDuffie, and Booth, the Bills have been in contact with those guys. So
did they talk to Devon Wyatt from Georgia?
Yes. The Bills talked to Devon Wyatt. The Bills has also talked with Jordan Davis, aka the Big Anchor. We all know what he did on the 40. Being 6'7", 340 pounds. So his stock kind of rose a little bit there. When we first got into Indy the first couple of days, everybody was talking about how he doesn't play enough snaps. And I guess he gets tired or whatever. He was making some excuse on why his snap count was low.
Right.
But when you look at Georgia defensive line, one of the best defensive lines in college football, they had one hell of a rotation. And the crazy part about that, the defensive tackle who they saying is the best defensive tackle was a freshman, not even in the draft yet. Go figure.
So my question with that, there's a question that comes with the question. What technique are they looking for as far as defensive tackles? Are they looking at defensive tackles that play like right over the nose?
Well, it's more like a one tech, really. But Bills covered guys with versatility, no matter what position. They cover guys that can play multiple positions. You know what I mean? So we got those interchangeable players, if you will. But 9 times out of 10 right now, they're looking for a one tech, a guy that could demand a double team, a big space eater. So Jordan Davis would definitely fit that mold if he was to slide to 25. That card would be in faster than your eyes could blink, I think. You know what I mean? If he was to slide to 25. But I don't think Jordan Davis get to 25 at all, especially, you know, when you that big and you running 4.7s, dude. Like, that's just freakish, unheard of stuff. So, I mean, it's a possibility that he can slide to 25. So you got to add him in the mix as far as best available. When you look at anything in the back end of the first round, it just boils down who's the best available player at that point. If you're not going to trade that pick for, you know, like we was talking about last week, a DK Metcalf type of player, then, I mean, you just take the best available player.
Or have you got any notion that maybe they might move up? I mean, they moved up to get Cody Ford in the draft before. Second
round is always doable when you start tinkering to move up and, you know, things of that nature. But as far as moving up in the first, I don't think the Bills would do it, but I won't count it out. You know, I would say 80-20, the Bills move up in the draft. I mean, they can make those big splashes. I mean, when you look at it, worst case scenario, you move up this year, you only giving up your first round pick for next year, right? So guess what? The Bills pick dead last. If they pick dead last in next year, you know, who cares? You know what I mean? That's a pick well worth spent. So it's a possibility that the Bills could move up. If it's a guy that they really coveted, it's a guy that they see like, you know what, he's not going to be at 25. We have the draft capital to go and get him. He's our guy, and we'll pull that trigger. They did it for Josh Allen. All right, so, you know, they could possibly do that. If it's a guy that they really like, I don't think it's an issue of them, you know, using next year's first round pick, because whatever that pick is going to be at the end of the first round anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like you're going to get, you know, you're going to miss out on a super duper impact player. He's either a quality depth piece or a guy that can compete for a starting job right away.
Well, there's a lot of impact on the wide receivers, you know, at the wide receiver position. You said Brandon being allowed you to play GM a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
How about you play a little GM right here while you're on the power station right now? You know, you just came back off the plane, no jet lag, all that good stuff, you know. No jet lag whatsoever. If you was the GM, who would you rather take, Jihad or Jameson?
Dotson or Jameson Williams?
Who got chips? Because coach is in here thinking.
I mean, only way I'm thinking is because, okay, we know Williams is dealing with the injury.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Dotson is solid enough. He's pretty explosive. He's a dynamic piece as well. Mm-hmm. Being Penn State and all of that stuff. You go Penn State, you go Alabama, excuse me. I'm still going to say Williams.
Okay.
I'm still going to say Williams. Even though he's injured, I'm still going to say Williams. Now, Dotson did put on the show at the Combine. He did run well. I mean, just about every receiver ran well at the Combine.
So you're giving Williams the Jamar Chase type of treatment. Okay.
I'm going at because, I mean, we know that we know he can blow. We know. He's the reason why is because the size. I'm a size and speed guy. Mm-hmm. All right. If you're 5'10", and you're fast and you can run on a route or whatever, I'm going to take a guy that's just as fast, even taller, you know, that can do the same thing too. You know what I mean? It's easier for a quarterback to see you. It poses more mismatch problems when it comes to high pointing the ball against smaller DBs. So that's why I say I would give Williams that advantage, even though he's hurt and he might miss probably the first 6 games of the season. He'll be definitely worth the wait.
Gotcha. Is there any guys that, you know, haven't been on the national radar or on, you know, media analyst or draft analyst boards that you saw at the Combine that would, you know, that shined
at receiver,
at any position.
I mean, we can break down. There was a lot of guys that stood out. I mean, we can break down position for position of all of that.
And I'm saying not from like top Power 5 schools. I mean, like maybe your Boston colleges or your
it's a Power 5 school.
HB.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Black college.
Not the usual suspects. Not your top 25.
Right.
Top 25. Yes, that's what I mean. Sorry.
There's a few guys that stood out. I mean, when you look at quarterbacks, okay, obviously you got Kenny Pickett, you got Willis. Who else stood out from the quarterback? I think Desmond Ritter. I think he had a solid combine. That nobody's talking about. He ran a 4.5. You know what I mean? He's what 6'4", 6'5". So I think he had a solid camp. And once again, my sleeper pick is Cole Kelly out of southeastern Louisiana, transferred from Arkansas. 6'7", 245, strong arm. Played a kind of similar style of offense that Josh Allen played with air raid 4 or 5 receiver sets. So I think he was pretty good. Strong out of Nevada. He put on a good showing out of the quarterbacks. Running backs, James Cook definitely put on from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, this was Georgia's combine.
This was Georgia's combine.
This was just a Georgia combine. This was a national championship. Georgia combine at the same place where they won the national championship.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So this is a Georgia combine. James Cook put on. Rashad White looked good. Pierre Strong. Pierre Strong from out of San Diego, South Dakota State.
Put on a strong.
Yeah, he definitely had a strong showing at the combine. Tim Smiley nephew, you know what I mean? Used to play with the Buffalo Bills, representing out of Arkansas. Ran the fastest time out of all the running backs too, with a 4.38 40. So he's definitely a guy that could be on the Bills' radar as well. Another guy, Tyler Goodson from out of Iowa. I think he had a solid performance. Your guy Kenneth Walker from out of Michigan State, he did real well. He looked very impressive in the field drills, and the running backs has definitely looked the power. Wide receiver, obviously, Olave. You got Wilson, from out of Ohio State. You got Dodson. You got Burks. Obviously, those 4 are the top guys.
Right.
And then you move on. Another guy that impressed me was Alex Pierce from out of Cincinnati. 6'3", he ran a 4.4 flat. I think he can fit the mold right now. First, Bills taking that type of receiver. Another guy that's big that can blow the top off of a defense. Christian Watson, all right, out of North Dakota State. I'm getting my Dakotas all mixed up right here, but 6'5", he ran a 4.3 as well, and then he looked very impressive in the field drills as well.
Anybody from HB? You got Tennessee calling.
I gotta turn that phone down, man. Y'all gotta turn your ringers on. Listen. This is Wufo Sports Report. This stuff is going live over the airways. Turn your phones down. You see what you got, Razor Sharp. Listen, this is Razor Sharp, okay? Don't get cut. Okay, you don't want to get cut, right? Razor Sharp, all right? So she runs this thing. She executes to perfection. So that means turn your phones off, guys. All right, yeah. Go online with your phones and stuff.
It was hard.
Turn them off. Flag on the play. All right, now getting back to where we were just talking about HBCUs. I would say no because they had their own combine. HBCUs had their own combine, so it's not too many HBCU schools that get to the draft. It's not too many HBCU schools that get to the draft. So we're gonna hold that thought. We're gonna get right back to this NFL combine. Just recap live from India. I got the commissioner with me. I got the torch. I got Razor Sharp in the building. Hey, phone lines are open too. Hit me up, 716-837-1112. You know what to do. Keep it locked and legendary. You are tuned into the Wufo 1080 AM.
Let's go.
On Power 96.5. We'll be right back.
So, and it was great.
Yeah, it was good. I'm waiting on Terrence.
So the food, bro. The food. What did you eat there that was different from?
I didn't. You can't add what none different.
Because I'm trying to see what
What none different. What you got? I mean,
what you had? Some wings that was.
I had a burger. I had a burger that was pretty good.
You had some wings. You had some.
Nah, I ain't getting no wings.
Shout out
only
to
one I'm
Terrell
not
Harris.
getting my wings. Only I get my wings.
That was good.
I'm not about to, even play around with it when it comes to wings. I only
Alicia, what's
getting
up?
wings right here in
Jade
town,
was good.
and that be that. Even though some of them wings did look good, but I don't even play around when
Timothy
it comes to
was
wings.
good,
That's what I'm asking. I want to know.
Melanie, what's up? Jade.
If I go to Indy and
Yeah,
some
go on.
spot, like, is it a sandwich? Is it a, ham and cheese?
Yeah,
Is
like
it
in particular something.
Yeah,
that's
you know what I'm saying?
particularly
Is it
fancy.
something?
Josh, what tournament?
Well,
was
it's
that
just
that y'all
restaurants
won?
that got good food. I mean, you can go to the yard. I had, fish tacos from out of the yard. You know what I mean? The yard house from around the corner. Like I said, everything is right there, man. So when you walk out of the convention center or whatever, everything is right there. It's like having 2 to 3 Chippewa strips.
right
You know what I
there?
mean? And it's just food, clubs, whatever you want, man. It's just all right there. You don't have to go nowhere. Food, clubs, hotels. It's even a strip club right
Do
there.
you guys still
now next to Lucas Oil.
See, my thing is this:
Notification thing
is that if specialty places, Buffalo, we got wings.
Sure.
When I went to New Orleans, I've tasted a lot of stuff. So, if there's alligator, if you're serving alligator, if you're serving shrimp,
See, rings.
anything more than 5 hours away, I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat. You know what I mean? Like, Bailey Seafood has frog legs and alligator bites.
Yeah, I'm not eating none of that stuff.
No.
What's up? Sorry about that.
I'm not eating any of that.
Wasn't on at the.
I'm not eating any of that.
That was random. What's up?
I'm not eating any of that.
That was random.
No, but it's more. There's no alligator within 5 hours. There's no,
Right.
So what's
so it's
nothing
frozen.
Exactly. It ain't fresh.
Wow.
If
Exactly.
you was in Florida, okay.
They chop it up.
Yeah, they got alligators
the ring.
hanging upside
The
down,
ring.
whatever. But I'm still not going to eat any.
It wasn't on during the Sabres joint, so I don't know how that came back on, but that was weird.
Auxiliary.
I gotta make sure I check. I was here early too. I should have had that off.
FM
I had
radio.
that turned off. That was
Bluetooth.
that was on me.
Auxiliary.
For more information on all of
Yeah.
200
That was a work call. I don't know. Wait till I'm done. Got it.
What if she doesn't find a new chef?
But yeah. So hey. Things happen. Yeah. I was almost certain that it was off. Almost doesn't count though. I ain't praying.
Power on. Bluetooth. Auxiliary.
Quality health insurance, including low or no-cost plan options.
We are the legendary 610 AM WUFO, Power 96.5 FM, and on Facebook at Power 965 WNY.
What's good, Sports World? Welcome back to Wufo Sports Report. Once again, I'm your host, Mookie Hawkins. On the ones and twos, we have Miss Anita Razor Shop in the building. I also have Andre the Torch Robinson in the commish as we are recapping what went down in Indy. All right, make sure you can hit me up, 716-837-1112. You know what to do. Holla at your boy. I am on the microphone till 7 o'clock. All right, so if you want any type of Bills discussion, any type of Bills news, hit me up. Speak your piece. All right. So we was just recapping positional, and what player impressed me the most down in India each position, and we left off where we left off at the wide receivers.
Wide receiver.
We left off at the wide receivers. So moving on to the tight ends. Obviously, the Bills, are looking for a tight end. All right, they're looking for another guy that they can blend in with Dawson Knox coming off a career season. So, I mean, it's only like 2 tight ends really that stood out to me. One was Charlie Colar from out of Iowa State. He looked at the part. He did speak with the Bills. He did have some meetings with the Bills, formal meetings. And another one was Isaiah Likely from out of Coastal Carolina. Showed some great speed out there, 4.5, but he's more of a slot guy. I think that, pretty much the Bills are looking for a guy that can block more inline and, to help out Dawson Knox there when they're running that 12 personnel. So Charlie Colar is definitely a guy that will be on the Bills' radar. Possibly he might make my 2.0 mock draft. So you just have to wait and see when that comes out. But on the tight end side, there's really only two that really stood out to me was Charlie Colar from out of Iowa State, and Isaiah Likely from out of Coastal Carolina. Moving on to the offensive linemen, and we already know the Bills have their tackles. All right, we have Deion Dawkins, who's a Pro Bowler. We have Spencer Brown, who's pretty much locking down that right tackle spot. So this draft is all about centers and guards. And some centers and some guys that stood out to me was Deion Johnson from out of Boston College. He's a dynamic guard who can play, tackle, guard, center, and we all know how those Bills like that versatility on that offensive line. He benched quite well, too. I think he had like 31 reps on a bench press. A lot of players didn't bench press this year. They opted out to their pro days because for some strange reason, they had the bench press and the field drills at the same day. So I get it. Rather disappointing for, the strength and conditioning coaches that was there to see those guys compete. And, they didn't. But I get it. I understand. You don't want to be tight when it comes down to having a field drill and you just got to benching 30 times and now your arms is tight. You can't extend for the ball. You can't extend the punch bags. And you don't want your stock to be dropping because your arms was tight when you're doing the field stuff. All right. So that translates to the in-game stuff. So that's why, a lot of guys didn't bench press. But Deion Johnson did from out of Boston College, did quite well for himself. So he might have moved up into the first round. That's how good he did. You know what I mean? So pick 25, I don't think the Bills will be trying to in the business for drafting a lineman. You know what I mean? At pick 25. But, Johnson could definitely be a guy that is available in the second. He's not going to be around in the third. He's a top 60 pick. Lacita Smith from out of Virginia Tech. He has spoken with the Bills. He's another guy that I interviewed him, and he compares himself to Wyatt Taylor, another VTech guy who the Bills drafted. He did good. Cam Jurgens from out of Nebraska. He had the fastest time in the 40 out of all linemen at 4.89. Nasty, tough, hard-nosed guy. And you want to get a lineman, you better go out of the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten produces the best linemen there is, in college football. Speaking of another Big Ten guy, Logan Brush from out of Wisconsin. Solid guard, mauler type, and we got a new offensive line coach in Aaron Cromer that loves that physicality, loves that power. So those are some of the guys up front on the offensive line, that I coveted, and they had talks with the Buffalo Bills.
So, Coach, where are we going? Where are we going?
I don't know.
I don't know right now. You are the guru. Nah, bro.
Still early.
Nah, you know, bro. Where are we going?
I've learned.
Where are we going?
Learned to be patient when it comes to this stuff. Now, you have an idea. You always have that idea, right? Okay, we know Bills need a corner. We know Bills need another wideout. We know Bills could need a D tackle. You know what I mean? Or possibly an edge guy. Or possibly another edge guy. But when you look at the dynamics of the Bills in previous drafts, they're not going to take an edger 3. Well, I can't even say that because back when McDermott was in Carolina, they took 3 defensive tackles back to back to back.
Listen. Torch asked you. Asked where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going?
25 is too hard to decipher because it could be anybody available. You take the best available. It's not like you're picking in the top 10 where this is my guy and I'm going to get him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Everybody's available. Where are you going?
So I got a question.
Everybody's available. I'm taking Jordan Davis.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Torch.
So I got a real interesting question for Mookie Hawkins. You said the Big Ten, obviously, as the best conference for offensive linemen.
I think so.
Well, my question is, why does the SEC send more if that's the case?
Yeah.
Because it's the SEC, because you got the Alabamas and you got the Georgias and you got the LSUs. That's why.
I just want people to understand that.
Yeah, but the reason why I say the Big Ten is when you're running the football and you got to run the ball in cold elements and stuff like that. That's
the best running backs come from the Big Ten.
Exactly.
Yes, we know.
So that's why I
asked Buffalo why they passed.
You look at running backs that's tearing up the league right now. Look at Jonathan Taylor. Where did he go?
Exactly. Yeah. Buffalo passed on him.
Just look at every Wisconsin running back. Came to the league and tore it up. All right. And Buffalo really didn't pass on him. But you keep saying that too. This is not the first time you said that. You just really enamored with saying that the Bills passed. Guess what? Everybody passed on Jonathan Taylor. He went in the second round.
Right. They took Zach Moss before him, though, right?
No, they did not.
What did they take?
They did not take Zach Moss before him. Jonathan Taylor was the first running back off the board. Zach Moss went in the third round.
Right. So they took Zach Moss in the third round, right?
Yeah.
And they needed a running game, which is something that the Bills have needed since 2018, right? So I would say that they passed on Jonathan Taylor then, right? Because he definitely was that guy in college. I mean,
but no, they didn't have a pick. Remember, he was gone before they picked in the second. They took Espinoza at the 52nd pick.
Yes, sir. They did. They took Espinoza at the 52nd pick.
So they didn't pass up on it. They didn't have a pick in the first round because we traded away for Stephon Diggs. So stop saying that.
Why they couldn't trade up for it, though?
They don't need him when Devin Singletary just about ran for 1,000 yards in this rookie year.
But we all know Devin Singletary is not that type of back, though, right?
Well, I mean, when you got a rookie that split time with Frank Gore and still almost had 1,000 yards and averaged 5 yards a carry, just led the league just about, you're not looking at a running back. You're looking at something else where they had needed a more need at, which was on the edge. So they took Espinoza, who was slotted to be a first-round pick guy who fell to him in the second.
Once again, one of these conversations that folks need to hear. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm going the way I'm going.
So if y'all were in the studio, I'm sitting here eating torches, jalapeno poppers, looking at this conversation. So it's great.
Yeah, I mean, listen. People have to understand when you're on the radio. I can say the obvious, typical, stuff. I could be. But at the same time,
you always want to challenge.
No. It's not even a challenge. Wait a minute. It's not even a challenge. It's for those who have a different opinion, and they need to know exactly what it is.
Right, we gotta
give it to them. I always go the opposite route of what I actually really think. So what you hear me say on the radio is usually for those who have a different opinion from me.
Everybody got that opinion. They're asking you. So, like, what about why we do this and why we do that?
Right.
This is why.
This is why we do it.
But it's always facts versus facts.
Nah, it's
always facts.
You know what the fun thing about this is? It always makes for a good radio show. By the way, Anita Razor Sharp is over there. Like, yes, absolutely.
She over there with her knife. She ready to cut somebody. She ready to cut. You see, she over there. She in the cut like Neosporin right now. She ready. See what she doing.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. So, folks, we on the radio, man. Don't be one-dimensional, man. You got to be diverse.
All right. So, Bills fans, we did not pass on Jonathan Taylor. Okay, let me state that for the record.
At all.
We did not pass on Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor probably like the first or second guy selected in the second round. All right. Bills didn't have pick until pick 52, and that's where they took the best available. Espinoza was high on their board. He was slotted to be. He was a first round, guy.
Yep.
When you look at, he was number 2 behind Chase Young in defensive ends coming out of the draft that year. Guess who was 3? Rousseau. It was Rousseau, Chase Young, and Espinoza that led the college football in sacks. So we got 2 out of the best 3 of that year.
All right. So let me ask this question: would you say that they passed up on a premium running back when they got Cody Ford?
They passed up on DK Metcalf.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Well, we drafted Devin Singletary that year. You got to understand, the Bills already had their guy in Frank Gore. So we wasn't about to draft a running back.
Another running back.
At 1 when they brought Gore in. I mean, that's just how that works. You know that. I mean, we talking a Hall of Famer now. Come on, let's not discredit Frank Gore, even though we
we definitely not going to discredit
we did get him old. We did get him old. We did get him old. We did get him old, but
he was on the AARP.
That was a young Buffalo Bills staff just trying to figure out things. You know what I mean? So what you do, you go get those veterans, those plug and play veterans that can help you win a ball game or two, that can help your young quarterback at that point in time. Because remember, Josh Allen's supposed to just be a game manager and run play action off the run
story.
You know what I mean? So now we bring in Steph Diggs, and that has changed. That's what led to the Buffalo Bills drafting Zach Moss when they already took Devin Singletary a year before. You know what I mean? So that's how that's the dynamics of that.
You see how he just built the bridge? Y'all see that? Y'all see how Mookie Hawkins just built the bridge?
Let me just because I asked the question before you can even answer it. I answered the question before you can even ask me.
Well, come on, man.
I know you got something else for me, so I don't even matter.
That's why he's the coach.
I don't even matter.
That's right.
You know,
that's why he's the coach. You see?
That's why he's the coach.
Just trying to break down a previous Bills draft, so everybody can be at ease and don't try to slander the guys.
And I gotta say, the Mighty O was watching too. Shout out to Pat.
Shout out to the Mighty.
Shout out to the Mighty.
Shout out to the Mighty. Well, he could tell you better than I can.
Listen,
but was it good for them to make some of the moves? Probably not. You know what I mean? But I'm explaining why they made the moves.
But it's all a guessing game. When you're a GM, it's all a guessing game. It's all a guessing game to put pieces into the puzzle. Mm-hmm. Frank Gore was one of the best pieces that were put into the puzzle in order for Josh Allen to progress as he did, because it progressed the running game.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all a puzzle. Being a GM, like I said, is just you putting stuff together in order to make a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, the wide receiver, and even the offensive line, defensive line, who they are. You know what I mean? So, you
got to put it together. You got to be able to put it together and hope it pan out. Because if it don't pan out, then,
we've had Hall of Famer Terrell Owens here.
Yeah, we ain't going back that far.
We're not. Okay, we're not.
We ain't gonna go back.
But what I'm saying is, you can have Hall of Fame pieces into.
We had Terrell Owens. We didn't have a quarterback.
Correct.
That was the issue. That's how Ryan Fitzpatrick got his back. He owed Terrell Owens a lot of money because if it wasn't for Terrell Owens saying, take Trent Edwards out and put the other guy in, the Irish rifle that's gonna get me this ball, then he owes him a check. Shout out to my man, Coach Nick. From O'Hare, the GOAT of the town. I got to get you on the show, man, because we already know what you're doing, man. You got the best girls basketball team in the state. You know what I mean, and one of the best in the country in my eyes. So we got Coach Nick tuning in, and you can continue on. Can you continue?
No, I'm just saying. We've had many Hall of Famers that have went to different teams. Jerry Rice to the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I mean? So it's the pieces that you have to put in place, and they have to work. So your GM skills have to be on point. And Coach Mook, definitely, you got it.
All right. Let me get down to the nitty gritty. I guess my man Tyler James Bush asked me a question on why we don't make the splash or go get a Watt or a Donald type of guy and stuff like that. I get that. It's time for us to do that. Mm-hmm. It's time for us to do that up front. When you look at the Bills contract situations, we signed Jerry Hughes to all that money. We signed Mario Addis to all that money. They're not on the team anymore. All right. So that's why the Bills didn't go, those guys got drafted by the teams that, selected them. And those guys, clearly wasn't available. It was time for the Bills to pick. But do they go and make a splash? And, like I was running down some of the guys that impressed me, in this year's combine, it wasn't really a surplus on edgers in this year's combine. It wasn't at all. Two come to mind, but really one come to mind, and that's Trayvon Walker. Now,
right.
I wouldn't mind.
Is he the guy from Alabama? Which one is the edge rusher from Alabama?
No.
That I've been hearing about.
It wasn't no edge rushers really from Alabama. Georgia.
Okay, maybe that's right.
Georgia.
I'm sorry. Georgia.
Number 44.
Yes, him.
Trayvon Walker ran a 4.59.
Yeah.
6'5", 275 pounds. All right, now he's a guy that I could potentially say we might, take him if we needed another edge guy. We can get him at 25. You know what I mean? Because he's relentless, and he's the type of guy that could drop back in coverage, and he's dynamic like that. If you look at his tape, he can drop back. He's very fluid in the hips, so he has the capabilities of you can put him in the scheme, which the Bills do. They do drop their linemen off, so I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be mad if the Bills did take an edger in Trayvon Walker at 25. So that will mark the pattern of Coach McDermott 3 years in a row taking the edge rusher, something similar thing that he did back in Carolina when he took Vernon Butler,
right,
Styler Tulele, and Kawan Short in back-to-back years. So he are very much capable of doing that here with the Buffalo Bills. And I wouldn't be mad if they take that. He's the only guy, Mr. Tyler, that I would take, that's dynamic enough to come off the edge with speed. A guy that's running 4.5, coming off the edge. That's what we need. We don't have no team speed. We don't have a guy that quarterbacks fear on third down. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's the only guy. Other than that, they're gonna have to try to look that up in free agency.
Can I ask you a question, Coach?
Sure.
Is the culture of Buffalo football changing with Josh Allen? With the entire football team, with this culture of success changing, because do you feel as though that players were coming here to grab the bag and leaving? And when I say that, I mean there are multiple players who have come here, first round picks, second round picks, highly touted talent who have come here, who have starred and who have left. Do you think that the culture of Buffalo football is changing to the fact where players actually want to come here and stay?
Oh, hell yeah, they want to come here now. We competing for Super Bowls. And who want to come play with Josh Allen, one of the top quarterbacks in the league right now?
And that's what I see.
That's all you heard at the combine. Even when you talk to the college prospects, what about Buffalo? Oh, I love Buffalo. The quarterback Josh Allen or Tre'Davious White. The narrative has changed. I was ragging on Detroit because I was like, I'm gonna go and ask players, has Detroit been in contact with you? No offense, Kamish, but that's the stigma I was going because the Bills was that guy, 10 years ago.
No, I see it. I see it, Coach. I see it.
So now you see free agents talking about coming to Buffalo. You talk about guys like Cordero Patterson mimicking about coming to Buffalo.
And it's not about the money.
At first, yeah, it's not about the money. It's not about the money.
It's about the culture.
It's about
winning.
It's about winning. It's about winning.
The
pieces are together to win.
Yes.
So, you could go vacation down south after football season when you're done with work. So now they finally get that notion when it comes
when you have Marshawn Lynch come in here and Porsches and Chippewa, you had those incidences. But when you have the culture of Josh Allen coming here and actually putting up numbers and producing and winning, the team is a winning team right now. And when you have that, people want to come here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's no longer let me just go get the bag and then 2-3 years when I sign my contract after my my contract is over, I'm gone. Because there's so many players who have left here and who have won Super Bowls, who have been
that's the Bills' fault, though. The Bills drafted majority of those guys and didn't put the best things around them to want to keep them. You know what I mean? And then, I'm gonna go at least somewhere. If I'm here in Buffalo and we're not doing well, and then all of a sudden a contending team throws a bag at me, I'm gone.
Yeah, but my thing is the fact that has changed. Like,
yeah, that's changed now. That's changed now because the Bills are doing a good job of drafting those guys, developing those guys, and having the money to re-sign those guys. That's why the Bills are like the motto of the NFL on how to quickly rebuild your franchise. That's why Dable and Joe Shane were able to get positions at the Giants because of that reason alone. You need a quick turnaround, and the Bills did it in what, 4 or 5 years?
4 years. I would say 4 years.
4 years,
and it's been a good turnaround, and it's been successful.
Exactly,
and it's been a successful for the team because it's a winning team now.
Everybody they just about drafted, they re-signed.
Yep.
So that's what it's all about. You get that continuity, and all of a sudden now those guys gets it, and they're winning. They're getting better, and they're competing. You know what I mean? And they're one of the best, in the NFC because of that. So yeah, that's going to be attractive. Now you got the quarterback, and players want to play with a dog like Josh Allen. I'm just not even going to hold you. People want to play with that quarterback. Now, when we had the TOs, when we had the Marshawn Lynch's and stuff like that, guess what? We didn't have a quarterback.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So guys want to play with a quarterback.
Question about Will Anderson Jr. He said no edge rushers from Alabama.
Yeah, he all right.
He was 3 sacks away from Elvis Dumerville's record.
And he played. He played.
Said he all right.
He played 1-on-1. He all right. He played 1-on-1.
He ain't stand out.
Exactly. He played he was 1-on-1. Will Anderson, he was 1-on-1.
Yeah. What Alabama edge rushers doing anything in the NFL? They all D-tackle. It's D-tackle you. When I talk to Darius Mathis, when I talk to those guys, LeBron Ray, he's another guy that played up and down the line. Mm-hmm. It's D-tackle you, man. That's it. They don't produce edge rushers pretty much.
Alabama does not have true edge rushers. They don't.
Yeah, they're like 5-tech.
They don't. Exactly.
They don't. Anderson
they 3-4 guys.
3-4 guy. Yeah, he was.
They 3-4 guys.
Like TJ Watt.
They 3-4 guys. You know what I mean? Before we go to break, I want to just shed light on this. Cole Beasley. All right, we all know during the combine a few days ago, they given Cole Beasley permission to go seek a trade. All right, so we all know what that means. When team give you permission to go seek a trade, that means you better hurry up, son, before we cut you. That's my understanding. And we all know that Cole Beasley carries $6.1 million on the cap if the Bills let him go.
Surely
and we know that the Bills are in desperate need of some money. All right, so let's not play around with it, Cole. You're the first topic of discussion. We know we got other guys we got to talk to, but let's just go ahead and get you out of the way before Monday. All right, so if Cole Beasley don't find a trade partner, if the New York Giants don't want to trade for him, then guess what? The Bills are going to release him by Monday, probably. By tomorrow, he'll be released.
He was a $7.9 million cap hit, too.
Yeah, so the Bills will save $6 of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then, the rest of it will just be dead cap space. So they're going to take that money by Monday or Tuesday. He'll be released, and he'll get a chance to sign with any team he wants, being 33 years old. Now, I think that, a team that comes to mind would be the New York Giants because of Dable, the familiarity. But would Cole Beasley want to go to a team that's rebuilding, coming from a team that came from a rebuild to a contender? It
depends on his what he wants to do.
Can you imagine him playing against his old team?
Whether it's about the bag or whether it's about
back to Dallas.
About the bag or about the finger.
I don't know.
It's about the bag or the finger. And when I say the finger, it's the ring.
You can't even talk about the vaccine stuff now because everything is going back to normal now.
Correct. Right.
So,
if I'm Cole, I'm going back to Dallas. Why not? Because Amari Cooper is about to be released.
It's about to be released. Coming around, it's about to be big in free agency.
But I'll tell you this: teams are not going to move because they want to put the Bills, because they know the Bills are a viable contender, and they want to put them in the hole. So they're not gonna make a move.
Teams better move. They better not be waiting on the Bills to do stuff.
Cole Beasley is a hot prospect, but not that much of a hot prospect where they don't want to put the Bills into a position where they have to take that hit.
Yeah, the Bills are just cutting. The Bills don't care.
They could.
They could. They will. You know what I mean? They're just trying to find a trade partner, but nobody's going to trade for that contract. Nope. And you're 33 years old. Let's be real.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody's going to trade for a guy that's 33 years old and $6 million.
So what happens if they don't?
$7.8 million.
So what happens if they don't find a team?
He get cut. He's released. Then, the team will pick him up for the low rather than trying to hold it, picking up that $6-7 million deal. So, yeah, that's how that's going to work. So we'll be right back with more of that free agency talk. And we'll wrap some things up with the combine. You're tuned into, Wufo 1080 AM on Power 96.5. Keep it locked.
Yeah, I cut Cole.
Gotta cut Cole. That's just all it is. You got.
Now, do you feel like Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh?
I don't know, man. First they was Dylan. They was good. They was having negotiation talks, and then they stopped.
Denver is the
Denver.
better
I feel like Denver is a spot.
Denver is the better chance because Hackett because Hackett's over there
Yeah.
as the head coach.
But
now.
if they redo his deal, how much money? What he's what 40-something million?
Denver got stupid money though.
No, forget that. I'm talking about the Giants though. I mean, Green Bay. If he redo his deal, they already got where they at cap wise now. They made.
But is he looking for money?
How much money they got on the cap?
But if they looking for money, or is he looking for?
Well, yeah, you still need money to bring other guys. That's the deal.
They can't bring anybody else.
Well,
that cap money is going to be gone.
No, they didn't save money on the cap already. Guys to put back in. They ain't made the big cut with the Williams guy, right?
You mean Zadarius Smith?
Yeah, they ain't do nothing with him yet. But how much cap space do they got right now?
Well, I'm about to tell you right now, actually, real quick. So I'll give you a legitimate number. They are actually 29 million under the cap.
They under?
No, over.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's still 29?
They negative 29.
So, yeah, restructuring Aaron Rodgers deal only probably get them
Here's
of
their
there.
top people that they got to. So, calculated market values, if we're going by market value, Aaron Rodgers, 46.6. Devontae Adams, 25.9. Rashad Gary, 20.5. Zadarius Smith, who they're about to get rid of, 16.7. Jari Alexander's market value is 16 right now.
Sign him
Elgin Jenkins is 14 million. Preston Smith is 12.2. They said they're gonna restructure and give him a longer deal. What's good, my cousin? I see you. What's up, Ethan? I see you too. Robert Tyen, you gotta remember you gotta pay Tyen too. Tyen been balling.
Tyen get hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt one time.
Tyen got hurt the year before that too. He been my fantasy Tyen. He be balling, but he get hurt. He got concussions. So you can't trust that. I can't give you no bad.
Market value is 11.
Who? Tyen?
Yes.
You gotta go. I can't sign you.
Rasul Douglas is 9. Lazard's is 8.
Yeah, they're not signing those guys.
MVS is 9.
You know what that means?
Devondre Campbell is 6.3.
You know what that means? You know what that means? Green Bay, you missed the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You let Tampa Bay come up to Green Bay and took your Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to make it to a Super Bowl. Y'all might as well go ahead and pack that thing up and break that team up.
Well, that ain't upset me.
Break that team up. It's time to break that thing
I ain't
up.
mad about that.
It's time to break it up. When you got those issues monetarily wise,
I ain't upset.
It's time
Here's the thing. Now, if they get the restructure and they restructure all that.
That's a lot of restructuring.
That's a lot of
restructuring. And you think they can't get it done?
Yo, you got to pay Zaire. You going to franchise tag.
It says Zaire.
Yeah, Alexander.
Oh, you talking about Jair? Yeah.
Jair?
Yeah,
You got to pay him.
Yeah, you got to pay him.
You got a franchise tag, Devontae?
Sure. That's if Aaron even stay.
Hey, forget if he stays or not.
Nah, because Devontae leaving if Aaron leaves.
You got to say if they franchise tag you, you got no choice. You got to honor the tag, or just don't sign it.
Adams is leaving.
If they franchise tag you, you got to sign it, bro.
Or he ain't gonna sign it,
or he just not gonna play.
He's not gonna play.
They gonna force him to trade.
Devontae already said he do not want to play with nobody else but Aaron.
He just gonna force him to trade.
He's not playing with John Scott Hoochie P off the bench. Who was the Green Bay Packers gonna get as a quarterback? Stop playing.
See, that's where y'all messed up at. Y'all supposed to got somebody else. Yeah, you want to keep talking about who the Bills passed up on.
I know the Packers did too.
Yeah.
We ain't gotta go there. I already know.
Welcome back to Robo Sports Report. You know, off the mic. You know, we were just breaking down the Green Bay Packers, and you know, I just had to say, it's just time to break that thing up. Ain't no way around it. Green Bay Packers, you have missed the bus. You let the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady come up in there and take y'all shine, take y'all Super Bowl that year. And right now, y'all got a whole heap of troubles financially.
It's a wrap.
And y'all got players out there with the handheld high talk about give me my money, and y'all ain't got no money. Y'all bankrupt, so it's time to break that thing up in Green Bay.
The
Packers.
You know what the GM said? That's some of them too. Blue, you don't do nothing but spin records. You ain't doing nothing. You don't do nothing but spin records.
Okay, my source done hit me back. He ain't giving me too much, but only thing he said was great. You know, the DBs ran well. He ain't gonna give me too much juicy stuff, but I get pieces and bits from you.
Coach be having an inside. You know.
I was trying to tinker in between Kier Elam or Tariq Wooten. Wooten is just about 6'5", okay, from out of UTSA. Converted wide receiver, more of a Richard Sherman mode, ran a 4.28 40. So, again, he plays cornerback at just about 6'5". We're talking a 6'4", 6'5".
UTSA is
University of Texas San Antonio.
That's what I thought. Okay.
All right, and we got Kier Elam, who's obviously at Florida. SEC guy. That could be a guy that the Bills take at pick 25. So I had to ask my source in reference to those guys, and he said that they both were different, but Woolen definitely helped himself running that fast time. Hey, speed kills, man. You got a guy that's 6'5" and runs a 4.2. Yeah,
that's Deion Sanders.
Yeah, he can recover, and he has the length.
That's Deion Sanders.
Okay,
that's Deion Sanders.
I ain't gonna say it's Deion. So speed-wise, yeah.
Speed-wise,
but
skill-wise,
in the field drills, he looked like he got tight hips. His hips don't look too fluid. But when it comes to straight line speed, when it comes to bigger receivers in the red zone, maybe we can put him up. He's a guy that could check tight ends for us. You know what I'm saying? Being that fast and being that long and rangy, you take a chance on a guy like that. He'll be around in the 4th, 5th round. You know what I mean?
It hurts when you have a guy who has that type of speed but doesn't have the mobility.
But the Bills can do like I said, the Bills do a good job on developing their players. So that's a guy that could be, a development piece. Do
the Bills want to
play? As long as he's physical, I wouldn't care. You just be physical, because Levi Wallace wasn't physical. Right. Levi Wallace had the size, he didn't have the speed, and he wasn't physical. And he was a liability out there, in my eyes. That's just my opinion. So, we'll definitely see. Free agency starts next week. So you're going to see a lot of guys being released. You're going to see a lot of contracts being restructured. You're going to see signing bonuses left and right. Hopefully, Stephon Diggs signed an extension this week. That would free up a good $7 to $8 million for the guys to go and bring in more players. And I'm quite sure that they're all in with that.
Quick question, Coach.
Sure.
Do you sign speed over mobility or mobility over speed?
What do you mean by mobility?
If you can sign a 4.4 person who has the mobility to cover,
you said his hips was tight,
right? And put him at that 4.2, 4.3 guy to cover a tight end or to cover a wideout.
I'm gonna get the guy with the mobility, because he can recover. He has more intangibles than a guy that just has.
And not waste time on training someone. I got you.
He has more.
I got you.
You could do more with a guy that has mobility. You know what I mean? Like
gotcha.
I said, he's a more interchangeable piece than a guy who just has straight line speed.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So yeah,
that's why you're the coach, bro. This is exactly why I come here every, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday to listen to you.
2-minute drill, 1-minute drill. But yeah, in the coming weeks, you're definitely going to see that. You're going to see guys being released. You're going to see contracts being extension. You might see a few trades along the way. So, be on the lookout for all of that. Tomorrow we'll be back, late night sports. Hopefully we'll have some more insight on what's going on in the NFL world. We're going to have a great show lined up this week. I'm going to have some of the guys that I've met, some of the reporters, all the way, from everywhere joining us on the show as well. It is Women's History Month. So I want to send a special shout out to Josina Anderson, who I got the chance to meet, took a flick with, and my girl Kimberly Martin, who covered the Buffalo News before she ended up being one of the top analysts.
And Women's History Month, we want to highlight that beautiful woman in the booth.
That's right. Shout out to Razor Sharp in the building, holding us down every single Sunday. Hey, make sure y'all love one another. Stay positive. Access to Africa is up next. From the torch, from Commissioner to Razor Sharp, I'm Mookie Hawkins. Thank you for tuning in to Wufo Sports Report, baby. We out.
Yo, I saw the flicks and I'm like, yo, he out here having a ball. That Joe Center flick was dope.
Yeah,
that was dope. That was dope. I don't know where you got these from, but I owe you something.
These from my store.
What store?
Speedway.
Bailey
and McKinley.
These Richard buds.
Yeah, my store. He's out, y'all. Because thanks for watching too. You just
That guy.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy who asks the most questions.
Yo, my wife was like, yo.
I'm the guy who asks questions.
My wife was like, yo, the preacher? I was like, who? She was like, the preacher. I'm like, who? She was like, yo, the preacher? I'm like, yo, the joint that you did, I want to say, what, 2-3